Ho! Welcome back and welcome in. This is a special casual chaos quick hitter. We're actually recording this at 9:25, coming off of our Propapalooza Super Bowl Extravaganza podcast. We're down a man because we want to keep it lean and mean here. So you got Jay Ash and Jeff, and we felt really remiss to not cover the NBA trade deadline, which closed today. Some shakeups, some big trades, some big moves. We'll get into our thoughts and what it did to the gambling odds, and if we think it really impacted this year's outcome. So we're down Bubba. It's the two of us. It's a two-man game. So let's just jump right into it, Jeff.
All right, man. So, I mean, what are your before we get into the individual trades? I mean, what was your overall thoughts? I mean, overwhelming, underwhelming. What were your thoughts?
Well, if everybody was really convinced that the freak was going to be on the move, it's automatically underwhelming because he didn't move. So
Right.
that was the biggest trade piece. Obviously, Harden getting moved or just doing Harden like things a couple days over the weekend. Probably, I don't want to say saved it, but definitely put a marquee name in. And then there was a lot of moves that were meh. Um, overall, but I'm sure they improved some teams, and you can read between the lines and other teams that are wink wink tanking the rest of the year. And then there's the just we'll get into it, but what are the Jazz doing? What are we doing with that? And are we getting better? Are we looking to make a better move next year? So a lot of questions there. So I'll let you pick it up from there.
Okay. Well, let's start with the Clippers. I'll recap two trades here. As you mentioned, Harden got moved to the Cavs for Darius Garland. Cavs also traded DeAndre Hunter to the Kings for Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. That deal is more of a salary relief deal than anything. That second one there. Didn't get him out of the apron territory though. They're still in the apron territory. But the other big one that came out today was the Clippers traded Zubats to the Pacers for Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, and two firsts. I'll get back to the firsts in a second. Evidently, the Pacers wanted Kessler. That's who they were going after. Supposedly, they were offering two first-round picks, but the Jazz just didn't budge. They didn't want to move him, even though he's a restricted free agent next year. So that was interesting. Before I give it back to you, Jay, real quick, I talked about the Clippers are getting two first-round picks back from the Pacers. Now, one of them is the Pacers' 26th first, but it's protected. It's protected 1 through 4 and then 10 through 30.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, if it happens to fall between 5 through 9, it does go to the Clippers. And since this is such a deep draft, I mean, I'm sure they'd be psyched if they could get that pick. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts overall about what the Clippers, I guess, and Cavs did
It,
in this situation?
I I I think it's a neutral play on both sides until today. I think with my opinion on the Cavs was I didn't think they were going to come out of the East anyway. I don't think that changes with Harden there. Harden's just a poison pill in the playoffs. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. He's not our favorite player, but at the same time, he's still putting up 24 points, but his shooting numbers are way down. But he just disappears in the playoffs. It's a fact. It's just we have too much evidence. So you're bringing a guy in who is going to change the culture of your locker room just by showing up. He's going to give you some scoring and then he's going to disappear. He's not going to give you really anything on the defensive end. So I don't know how the team got better. The ancillary pieces. Initially, I thought, the Clippers were picking up a good guard when he's healthy, and he's a younger version of it. He can heat check you, and Kawhi's playing at a high level. But then you trade your second best player on the team. So what are you doing? You're sitting at 9, so you're in or play in territory. It sounds like to me you're selling.
Yeah.
It just I like Matherin. I think he's a nice player. I don't think he's Zubac. So if you're trying to go young, athletic, that's what you thought we needed. We need to play more defense. Van Gundy's saying, let's play more defense. Let's go young. It could work out, but you just gave up double digit rebounds and a go to guy down the stretch. So I don't love it for the Clippers. And, if I'm putting money on it, I'm betting for them not to make the playoffs because it smells like a Kawhi injury away from being a disaster.
Yeah, and don't forget that I think if that pick is one through eight, it goes to OKC, right? The
OKC.
Clippers. Yeah. So the OKC might get like a top eight pick, depending on what happens with the Clippers this year. So, um, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, look, they picked up a couple of good guards. I mean, Matherin is on expiring, so it's basically probably this is it for him, one and done. And he's gone. Um, Indiana, they get 2 seasons from Zubats, and he's only getting paid like 20 million a year. Well, 2 seasons after this year, I should say. Yeah, at 20 mil per year. Good rebounder, good on the boards, especially the offensive boards, which they've been missing. And he's a pretty good defender.
Yeah,
Doesn't shoot from out. Not a huge shooter from outside or anything like that. He's more of an old school center, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's funny. The winner out of all this is probably the Pacers because they get Zubats, right. They're going to get
yep,
Halliburton back next year, hopefully healthy, and the odds are that they're going to get that draft. They're going to keep their draft pick for 26. So, and
yeah.
again, in a very good draft. Especially, I mean, if it falls 1 through 4, I mean, they're going to be ecstatic. So the Pacers came out pretty good in all this. One thing I'll say about the Cavs, obviously I don't disagree about anything you said about Harden in the playoffs, but he's still really good in the regular season. I do think he's going to help them. I mean, they'll certainly improve their seed when it comes to the playoffs. I think they're gonna win a bunch of games in the second half of the season. So all these deals sort of make sense. I saw somebody say. They know Garland better than anybody. They know his medical is better than anybody, and maybe they're just afraid that he's never going to be healthy. Which is possible. So
That's fair.
yeah.
That's definitely fair. All right, what else we got?
All right. So the next big one, Anthony Davis to the Wizards. Dallas moved a ton of money in this deal, so I think they actually escaped. They got under the luxury tax, I believe. Definitely got under the first apron. That I know for sure. They only have 150 million committed to salary for next year, so they have room to make deals. They have their own pick this year, which again should be in the lottery, and it's going to be a good draft. Um, you know, uh, we'll see. And they get the Thunder's pick in this trade as well. So, which obviously won't be a great pick. It might be the last pick in the first round. But again, deep draft. So they might get a player with that pick. Now, again, what are the Wizards doing? Right, that's the question. Obviously, it makes sense for Dallas to get out from under that contract. It also makes sense for just to get Davis out of town so that people stop thinking about him and Luca and all that nonsense. Um, but I'm not exactly sure what the Wizards are doing. Can you give me any knowledge on that? What are your thoughts there? So
No, I mean, they committed fuckery is the polite way to say it. I don't know why you're bringing Anthony Davis in. He can't stay healthy, and you're going to pay him 60 million a year over the next 2 years. You were coming up on a season where you're actually going to keep your draft pick, clear cap space, and you can go after. I think you brought up Walker Kessler a minute ago, right? You were going to go after it. You got some young talent. You got Trey Young, and you could be worse things than being in the Trey Young business, but I don't think he's a winning player as we talk about. But at the same time, you got a young team and he's a name on the marquee. I don't know what you did there. Now you just locked up your team. You're finally getting out of the Beal deal, and now you're just locking yourself back in. And to me, I said this to you in text when it happened. This could be Anthony Davis. Like, you know what? I don't want to play basketball anymore. It's just not a good. It's not a good organization. It's not like they're on the up and he wants to rebuild. He was just in Dallas watching guys fall apart. He's playing with one of the best young talents we've ever seen. What that kid's doing right now, just turning 19 years old. He's kind of buddies with Kyrie, and now it's just like, okay, I'm going to go to Washington. Ugh.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of Kyrie, it'll be interesting to see if they move him in the offseason. I mean, I haven't heard any like the insiders say that or anything, but I don't know. It almost feels like they just want this to be Flag's team. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see if they move him, and I'm sure he still has value. So we'll see what happens there. Uh, I mean, this was an interesting one. Your Sixers traded Jared McCain to the Thunder. Sixers get under the cap with this move, and it also allowed them to make a couple other small moves. But Rockets 26 first and 3 second rounders going back to the Sixers. With SGA being hurt, McCain maybe gets some PT. He put up a good showing a couple years ago for the Sixers, and then um, sort of disappeared into the G League after that. So he's talented. Whether he's a true NBA player or not, I guess we're going to find out. But any thoughts there on McCain?
Yeah, I mean, he started off really hot his rookie year and he got hurt, right? And this is his first year back from injury, and Edgecombe just eviscerated any need for him. So the fact that they were able to turn him into potentially future assets was a good move. It got him under the cap as well. And if you're Presti, or I should say, if you're evaluating Oklahoma City side, you just got to figure Presti knows what he's doing, and that's going to be a win. The kid's going to be healthy, he's going to be fine, and he's going to spot minutes. I thought maybe Lou Dort would get moved by the trade deadline as a result, but you can also already see they're starting to probably make plans this summer to move on from Lou Dort, and now you got a young kid on a rookie contract.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, for the Thunder, I think it's a no-brainer. Again, he may end up not amounting to much, but it's definitely worth what they gave up. Um, it's worth the lottery ticket, in my opinion. So
Yeah, but I mean, for both teams, it doesn't do anything really this year, unless SGA misses a significant amount of time. But it doesn't make Philly any better this year. You know?
no, it certainly doesn't. But he wasn't playing for them anyway, so it doesn't hurt them either. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right.
yeah. Speaking of point guards, the Wolves pick up. Hope I'm saying his name right. Dosamu, right? That's how you say it,
Sure,
Dosamu.
sure.
Uh, Rob, they gave up Dillingham, so they gave up. He was a number two pick, didn't they draft him number two?
Yeah,
Yeah, so they gave up Dillingham, Leonard Miller, in 4 seconds. A lot of seconds being traded this the past few days. Minnesota. I mean, do they finally have a point guard? I mean, it's basically all been on Ant to bring the ball up. So they finally got somebody maybe to take a little pressure off him. And he's a pretty good shooter, 45% from three this year. So any thoughts there?
no, I think you hit it. I mean, it was time to get out of the Conley business. He was slowing him down. I think they did that move because they had a bigger move in mind too. I think that they didn't want to stop where they were there. I just don't think it worked out. And
Yeah.
you and I have been going back and forth all year long. They had Tristan Newton in the G League, who's just lighting up the G League. I couldn't believe he couldn't crack that team, and you wind up moving on from both of your point guards that were keeping him in the G League. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me.
Yep. Yep.
So
Um, Yeah, no, I hear you. All right, next one. Celtics move Anthony Simons to the Cavs for Nikola Vukovic. As a Celtics fan, I'm happy with this trade. I know a lot of Celtics fans that are not. I give Simons credit. I mean, he came in, he fit in, he played his role. He was sort of like a microwave coming off the bench, and when he was having a good game, he had really good games, and when he was having a bad game, they kind of just didn't play him. You know what I mean? So that's the advantage of having like a 6 or 7 guy. But look, he was on an expiring contract. They really needed another big guy. Vukovic is also on an expiring. It's not like they're tied into him for the long term. He fits their system. Obviously, he's a big man that could shoot. He could spread the floor. They also get and this has been underreported, but they also get a $27 million trade exception through this deal. That lasts for 12 months, from the time of the trade. So that could end with Stevens, at the helm. That could end up being a huge deal for the Celtics. 27 million, dude. That's huge. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, and
it's
the
a
Celtics
legitimate
then
player.
also. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said it's a legitimate player.
Yeah, and then the Celtics also signed Amari Williams from their G League team. He actually came up and played a couple games a week or two ago and looked good. Very athletic, 6'11", athletic. And again, can't shoot from outside or anything of that nature, but he gives them a different look. So they just signed him to a very small contract, but they got him through next year. He was one of those guys who he played at Drexel for 4 years, and then he finished up his college career at Kentucky last year. So
Mhm.
yeah, so I like what Boston did. They, by the way, they also traded Cedric Tillman, which finally got them not only under the first apron, but they're now officially under the salary cap. So all the penalties and repeater taxes, all that stuff resets moving forward to next year. So I like
Yeah,
what Boston did.
right. It's what new ownership wanted. Um, I like the move for them, especially with Tatum coming back, and we talked
Mhm.
about that. That's a trade deadline move by default, and it was apparent that Garza was going to get exploited in the playoffs, so you brought in another big body. As good as Simon's played it for his role, it's at worst a wash, especially from a point standpoint. It's at best an upgrade because you're getting rebound with the 3-point shooting. So I think
Yep.
it's a good move. I mean, the odds overall, I mean, they're still sitting, they were at 1,400, they're at 1,500 now. I mean, it didn't really change too much drastically.
Yep.
That's the big thing too. None of these moves did anything to the odds board. Really didn't.
No, which makes sense. I mean, again, like we said, I mean, I think the biggest move for the regular season is probably what Cleveland did with Harden, but yeah, I don't know if it necessarily changed their playoff future,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, all right, Jaren Jackson Jr. To the Jazz. So Grizzlies seems like officially in a rebuild mode. They get out from under that contract. They now speaking of this, the Celtics trade exception, they created 28.8 million trade exception, which I think is the biggest ever. So they won up the Celtics by almost $2 million there. I guess the Jazz are signaling that they're ready to compete, right? With Jackson, with Markkinen, with Ace Bailey, who I guess they like. Can't say I've watched a lot of Utah Jazz games, so I don't have a personal opinion about Ace Bailey at the moment. But they need to finish in the final eight to keep their pick, or that goes to OKC. So I don't know what they're going to do there. Are they just going to try to win games, or are they going to start sitting guys down to try to keep their pick? I don't know. And then they kept Morant. Everybody sort of expected Morant to get traded. Again, from what I'm hearing from the Mark Steins of the world, like the insiders of the world, I guess they just nobody really wanted him. I mean, nobody really offered
Yeah.
up any real trades to get him. So, thoughts on the Grizzlies? Thoughts on the Jazz? What do you think's going on there?
They just gave Triple J that contract in Memphis. So the fact that they punted so quickly, and if they were trying to shop Ja, I mean, we've always heard that the ownership just would never get rid of him. They love him too much. But you're going to get rid of the second piece to that team. You gave up Bain last year. It just sounds like it's teetering between incompetence or we are just going to completely reset and start over. But you can't completely reset and start over if Ja's still the centerpiece.
Yeah.
So maybe that's you're going to make a move for nickels on the dollar in the offseason because you couldn't get anything at the trade deadline. Let somebody, let the pressures of the season kind of wash over, see what happens with the draft and make a move, maybe. As far as Utah goes, they're 16 and 35. You're currently 13. You're gonna wind up being a lottery pick even with this guy, as far as I'm concerned. We got to see what those picks were all about and what they translate to. And you know, I don't know. Kind of like you just said with Stevens, I'm gonna give Ainge the benefit of the doubt. Maybe right below a Presti level. So he's got to know something. But it's a weird team now. It's just a weird team.
It is, and remember, they only keep their pick if it's in the top eight. So, yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. It'll be interesting. But all right, Alvarado to the Knicks from New Orleans. I think he's a good fit for the Knicks. He's a solid shooter, 35% from three in his career, and he's one of these guys that's not afraid to like dive on the floor, all that nonsense. So the Knicks
Yeah, he's a
fans are gonna
pest.
love him. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a pest, and they need a little rough and tough. to go with the rest of that roster. So it's a good move. It's a cheap date. Is they didn't give up much.
Yep, I know, I like it. The Lakers, we talked about last week that the Lakers needed to find some defense, and instead they went the complete opposite direction. They bring in Luke Kennard, who obviously can still shoot. He's shooting 44% from three, on about 4.5 attempts per game this year. So he's still can shoot the ball, but he's an awful defender. So they basically are going all in on, what, we're just going to try to outscore everybody we play.
I think it's good for the young kids out there. If you're a young white shooting guard, LA's the place for you.
Yep. Included in their coach, by the way.
Exactly.
All right, Warriors. So the Kaminga nightmare has finally ended for them. So they trade Kaminga and Buddy Hield to the Hawks for Kristaps Porzingis, and Porzingis fits Golden State perfectly as far as when he's on the court. He's a perfect player for their system. Problem is, he's got this autoimmune disease that messes with his heart rate. Then they kind of they think they got that figured out, and then he got some sort of other illness this year that they're saying is completely unrelated to that one, which is another mystery illness that he's got on top of all the injuries that he's had this year. So I just don't. I mean, again, it's a cliche, but Porzingis is great when he plays. He just never plays.
Injured plus sick plus illness equals must have. It's I don't get it. It's a move to get out of the Kaminga business.
Yeah.
It's all upside. It's not a trade that, okay, we've got, even if Butler was healthy, okay, we've got the piece we've been missing with Porzingis. It was just a move to get out from under Kaminga. Kaminga, this is going to be his only shot, I think, because he's going to a team that likes long, athletic kids, and that's what he is. So if he can put it together, he might have found himself a home and healed. He could still be a microwave and get them points. I don't want to say he replaces Trey. It's not the same type of player, and he's a better 3-point shooter than Trey. So it's good for the Hawks. It's kind of meh for the Warriors, and we'll see them in the playing game.
Yeah, I mean, it better work out. I mean, I don't necessarily know if Kaminga fits what the Hawks are trying to do. I mean, you're right. He's finally going to get some consistent playing time. So
Mhm.
we'll see. I mean, we'll see if he's actually a real player or not. But it's a weird trade for the Hawks in the sense that Porzingis is on an expiring. So I mean, they're bringing in Kaminga, who's locked up for a few more years. So they better be right on him. I guess I mean, I heard somebody say that they might just flip him in the offseason, that they might not even keep him, which I guess is possible. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. All right, couple more to run through. This one was kind of odd to me. The Bulls trade Kobe White and Mike Conley Jr., who's basically just a throw-in at this point. But so it's basically Kobe White to the Hornets for Colin Sexton and Ousmane Dieng via OKC, who then Dieng got moved to the Bucks. So really, it's Kobe White for Sexton, which is kind of a wash. I mean, they're both around the same age. They both put up sort of the same numbers. They're both about the same from 3-point range. I don't know. Is there much of a difference between the two players?
Just the speed of Kobe White. I mean, that's really it, right? It's just speed. He When he's healthy, he can play. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's good. And Sexton is kind of a black hole a little bit, right? Doesn't have a great track record, but yeah, it's a wash. But you're bringing a kid. I think the only other thing too is you're bringing a Carolina kid home, right? So maybe it's a little boost in attendance. It's young. You get younger, which fits with what they're doing down there. I think LaMelo Ball is an old man on the team, right? At this
Yeah.
point. So I mean, still, it's a young team. They're scrappy as hell, and it's another point guard.
Yeah, the Hornets. I mean, so the Hornets are interesting, right? Because I mean, they've been playing really well over the past, I guess, month, we could say. And are they again? Not to belabor the point, but it's a really good draft this year. So, are they going to try to get into the play-in, which gets them out of the lottery, or what? It'll be curious to see what they do. It'll be curious to see if they sort of pull back on the reins at some point, before the end of the season, or if they just say, you know what, we got a really exciting young team, and we're just going to try to win as many games as we can. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm curious to see how that plays out.
I'm with you.
Wizards, you mentioned this earlier. Wizards get Trey Young for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. This is basically a salary dump for Atlanta, gets them under the cap. Um, Trey Young was another extremely popular player, but they finally just decided, we're better off without this guy. Another guy who doesn't play defense, and as you said, his 3-point accuracy has gone down greatly since he first came into the league. So.
Well, I mean, and that trade was what, 2-3 weeks ago. I mean, how much has he actually even played? You know?
Uh, yeah, no, well, no, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I don't think he's played. I mean, I don't think he's even playing with the Wizards
played
yet, right?
right.
Couple
Yeah.
games?
So
Yeah, a couple games. Yeah, and then finally, only because we love Denver, we'll just mention they got rid of Hunter Tyson today in a salary dump, which gets them under the luxury tax. It also allowed them to sign Spencer Jones to a real NBA contract and get him off of a two-way. He's played really well for them this year, so I'm sure they're happy, getting him on a full-time contract. So,
yeah,
um, yeah. With that, am I missing anything? Am I forgetting anything?
the Pistons trade. Uh, what you call it? They brought in the redhead. They brought in Herder. Got rid of
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ivy.
You know what? I skipped
Yeah,
that one intentionally because neither one of us liked that one.
no, but the more I look at it, I don't like it at all. The Pistons, they either should have stayed pat or I don't know who they should have brought in, but it's not Kevin Herter.
Yeah,
He's got declining numbers over the last 3 years. He's barely above 30% from three this year. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's not like he's a tough guy. It's not like he's bringing more grit to this team. Maybe he's a good locker room guy. I don't know. I don't know what the vibe was with Ivy. I don't know if he just didn't fit. Obviously, he had the bad injury last year and took a while to come back and acclimate. But that to me was, again, same thing. Not quite a Tatum, but he was just getting back into a rhythm and rotation. If he becomes 100% healthy, there's your trade deadline move. The guy goes from 80% to 95%, and is he a player? So front office must have just given up on him, and he gets to move on. But I don't know what you're replacing him with.
yeah, yeah. I don't know either, man. I'm with you. I don't have much to add to that.
Yeah. All right.
I guess the only other thing we should mention, I mean, we already talked about Giannis not getting moved, Morant did not get moved, and then Sabonis with the Kings didn't get moved. Those are three
I,
players that a lot of people were thinking, and Kessler with the Jazz too. So, four
yeah.
guys that a lot of people expected to get traded that did not. So,
I feel
um,
bad for Sabonis. I feel bad for anybody that has to just deal with that Sacramento bullshit.
yeah. Well, he signed the extension though. I mean, you know what I mean? He
Oh,
didn't have to sign the extension. So,
yeah.
uh,
Money's money. Money's money.
let's just give some credit to Shams, Bobby Marks, Jake Fisher, and Chris Haynes, and I mentioned earlier Mark Stein. A lot of the info I laid out there came from those guys. So uh, doing
All right.
doing the Lord's work, those guys. So
All right. I say we wrap it up. That was
yeah,
it.
brother.
Little quick hit. Casual chaos, quick hit, first of its kind. So,
So yeah,
all
we're
right.
getting into we got the All Star break coming up, and then we about 30 games left after that, and we get into the playoffs. So we're in the home stretch, and then March Madness
Yep.
coming up too. Can't forget that. So
The West is going to be fun. UConn basketball is always fun. So keep paying attention tomorrow night, Friday night. I don't know when this is actually going to
yeah,
be put
well,
up. But
hopefully UConn won by the time people hear this. Hopefully they already won.
yes,
So
yes, that is fair. So, all right, for Jeff, for producer Tyler in the background, and for an absentee ballot Bubba, I'm Jay Ash. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.
bye everybody.
Bye. Hi, everyone. This is Jay Ash, one of the hosts of the Casual Chaos podcast. Podcast you are about to listen to discusses gambling and wagering on sporting events. Please be advised the gambling and sports wagering content during this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial or gambling advice. Sports wagering involves significant risk. If you choose to gamble, please do so responsibly and only gamble with funds that you can comfortably afford to lose.
All opinions, wagering tickets discussed, or implied wagers on the Casual Cast podcast are not guarantees to result in financial gain. You must be 21 years or older or of legal gambling age in your jurisdiction to participate in sports wagering. Please verify the gambling and sports wagering laws and regulations within your jurisdiction prior to placing bets. Listeners are solely responsible for their own wagering decisions and outcomes. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call or text the National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. We encourage everyone to engage with sports betting responsibly. The host and the Casual Cast podcast assume no liability for any losses incurred as a result of listening to this content.